Hello friends, I'm Miranda Carter and welcome to the Friend Zone. So I've been thinking for a while about what exactly I want to do with my YouTube channel, and I think that I've landed on what I want to try next. And what I want to do is I want to start taking your submissions for stories about what happened at the indoor playground. Be it something amazing that the staff went above and beyond for you, how their facility was able to accommodate something specific for you that you didn't really expect them to, or even something super sad that happened, or the worst horror story that could have possibly happened. And I actually have a couple of stories for you today, and both of them actually have to do with a lack of accessibility and inclusiveness, which is very near and dear to my heart. And that's what I'm going to be reacting to for you today. What I'm hoping to gain from these stories is not only to spread awareness on the shortage of awareness for accessibility and inclusivity, but to also entertain us, honestly. And thirdly, I'm going to use this as market research because I'm going to listen and I'm going to learn from my community what you guys want, what works, what doesn't work, what you're excited about, what failed horribly, and what just makes you want to run screaming for this. So this idea came to me from a couple of different avenues, and it kind of all came together. And what has happened is as I'm watching YouTube videos about entrepreneurship and how to... I love you. I know, it's hard to be apart. Mommy needs to work though, sweetheart. Oh, I know. I know. So my first story, I don't even have to read because it's my own personal story, and what better way to start telling stories than with my own. So as many of you who are from the area may already know, we have an aquarium, and they just got a new outdoor play center, and it's big and exciting looking. You can see it from the parking lot. On a good day, you can even see it from the bridge. It's exciting. We've been waiting for a couple of years for it. It's not that it took them that long to plan it and build it. It's just that, the pandemic kind of slowed everything down for everybody. So they're really not to blame for that. But we had this excitement, this buildup of, we got a new play center at our aquarium. That's so exciting. And the first time that I took my son to it, we headed straight to that area because he knew that that's where he used to normally go. And as we got closer to it, I started to realize that this wasn't going to work out for him in the way that he would want it to. As we approached, I'll put a picture right here and you can see. As we approached, we saw that it was just a large climbing structure that was made out of rope, kind of like American Ninja Warrior style. So anybody that had any kind of physical disability or didn't have the confidence, or maybe had a fear of heights, probably wasn't going to make it to the top safely. My son did try his hardest. He put his hands on the lowest rungs, and even just from the kids who were higher up, who had managed to make it higher, it was shaking just from the natural way that it was built. And my son immediately was like, oh no, that's scary, I don't want to do it. And he hasn't wanted to go to it since. And if you look at the picture, you can see that they could have built a ramp next to it that parents could get on and, maybe help their kids get up there, help them with their confidence, build up that. There's two different ways to get up here, and either way is fine, but they neglected to do that. And I feel like that was really big missed opportunity. It was a sad day for us. My son did have a meltdown because he couldn't play with the other kids that were really encouraging him. The other kids were great. But it was still very sad, and that just kind of, shines a spotlight on the fact that kids with disability, adults with disabilities, we're just looked over so often, and we're underrepresented, and it's sad, and it needs to change. The lack of... So, the second story that I have for you today actually comes from a personal friend of mine, and she has given me permission to use her story, but has asked that I keep. To give you a little bit of background information and to kind of flesh out this story, I will share that it involves a child that has SMA, which stands for spinal muscular atrophy. And here's where we get educational, and here's where we can spread awareness about some of the different disabilities that there are out there in the world. I had never heard of it until she started posting about her daughter having this disease. And I have learned so much from her, and I am so grateful for her to give me this learning opportunity and to give me a chance and a platform to spread awareness about this disease. It's genetic. It's very rare. Only one in about 6 to 10,000 kids have it. It's from a gene mutation. Um, uh, if both parents are carriers, they have one of the deformed or are missing a part of that gene, then 1 in 4 of their children will end up with this spinal muscular atrophy. It can cause a host of problems for the person. It can cause scoliosis. It can cause malnutrition due to the muscles being too weak to be able to swallow properly, which means that they're going to require a feeding tube. It causes your lungs to be weak, your heart to be weak. Breathing is often supported by ventilators and CPAPs at night. Most children who have type 1 do not survive past their second birthday. The daughter of my friend is actually just turned 3. So she is an absolute miracle child. We are rooting for her. We are all in her corner. We wish her the best. And whenever I see stories about her amazing accomplishments and milestones that she has just shattered, I am celebrating along with her. So her story is coming to me in the form of Facebook posts. I'm not going to read it word for word because, again, I'm trying to keep her as anonymous as possible. And since I've already said that she's my friend, it might be easy to find her just by knowing her story and seeing the post that I'm about to read to you. But her first post was ready for the community Easter egg hunt. This will be interesting with the chair. But she's optimistic. She's going to take her kid to her first community event. It's going to be a great time. I expect there might be a challenge or two, but we'll go. We'll see we'll see how it happens. And I do the same thing with Orion, my son. I go to these community events thinking, you know what, this could be an absolute nightmare or it could be the most wonderful, enriching experience. And I don't want to not take him in case we miss out on the wonderful, enriching experience. It's a tough call for a parent to make, and I give her props for taking her kid out there. And then a couple hours later, she made a second post, and this post is where it gets a little sad. She says, Easter egg wasn't stellar. It was muddy from the rain. Everything was scooped up in like 10 seconds. By the time we got to the field, my daughter was only able to get 1 egg. And that's so sad. These things are absolute free-for-alls. I've seen them. It's like sending piranhas out into the ocean. It's insane. And sometimes the parents are worse than the kids. It's insane how these kids go out there and they trample other smaller children, and there's no organization, there's no separation, of like age groups, or you could use reusable eggs and have a couple of different time slots. It's a simple solution. And just, I know that a lot of parents out there are saying, well, that's how I grew up and that's how I did it. So it's kind of tradition. If you don't get all the eggs, then, it's survival of the fittest, basically. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. But her story does end on a silver lining, and I'm very warmed by this. It says, even though it was a harsh reminder just how much she misses out on because of things not being accessible to her, I saw how much she is looked after by her cousins. Each one of them gave her one of their eggs on their own. Like, they weren't asked to. They did that out of the kindness of their beautiful little child hearts. And that's amazing to me. So major kudos to those kids. You're raising them right. They're amazing kids. I will also say that there were comments further down, and I have to give a major shout out to one of the commenters on the post. And she said, "Hi, my family runs an egg hunt," and I won't say the name of the town. But she specifically asked, how can we make it more accessible? Amazing. We need more people like that commenter. And my friend actually gave some suggestions, paved or at least smooth ground when you have these egg hunts. Hiding eggs on a higher surface than the ground. Because of her muscular atrophy, bending over to reach the ground, and plus she's only 2.5, 3 at this point. She's a tiny person. She's not going to be able to reach the ground on her own. So having them up at, arm's length to be able to grab, that's just an accommodation that's so simple, so easy. And it's something that, the average Joe is not going to think of until, something like this happens. And that's why I want to do what I do. When I have Easter egg hunts, I'm going to have time slots, and they're going to be limited to 10 families. I'm going to try to keep the age groups together, and I'm going to separate out the eggs so that each egg is corresponding with a specific prize. So if you go and try to grab all the eggs, well, only one red egg is going to get you this action figure, or only one green egg is going to get you this piece of candy. If you bring me 10 green eggs, well, you're still only going to get one piece of candy. So there's no point in hoarding them all. And these are just simple solutions. So this video was a little bit on the shorter side because, well, number one, it's my first time doing it. And number two, I really only had the personal stories, my own personal story. And then, my personal friend who decided to be kind enough to share her story with us as well, which I am immensely grateful to her for. You know who you are. Thank you. Also, if you would like to share your story with me, it's simple, it's easy. Just send me an email. It's miranda@friendzoneoc.com. And if you can do me a favor and just put like a short description on, oh, this is what happened at a birthday party. This is a horror story from a playground, or the most beautiful thing happened, something to give me kind of a heads up so that maybe I can categorize these videos. That way, if people have, trigger warnings, or if they're in the mood for a happier story and my stories are all sad that day, or they're all horror stories, people can decide what they want to watch. I'd appreciate that. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart for indulging me in my experiments, coming along with me on this journey. And I will encourage you to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share, all that fun stuff. Follow all the social medias, visit the website, spread the awareness, spread the education, and I will see you in the next one. Try it in the camera.
Grammy?
Yeah, that's the camera. We're not going to talk to Grammy. We're going to do an intro. Can you say
book?
Yes, I have a book here. Can you say hello, friends?
Hello, friend.
Good job.